are of two types: intrinsic or pure semiconductor and extrinsic or impure or doped semiconductor. Okay, so intrinsic semiconductor or pure semiconductor, in intrinsic semiconductor the number of electrons is equal to the number of holes. That is, electron hole pairs are thermally generated by breaking of covalent bonds. Okay, at room temperature some of the covalent bond breaks and an equal number of electron hole pairs are generated. Okay, so the thermally excited electrons, there are thermally excited electrons and there are equal number of holes at room temperature by breaking of covalent bonds. But intrinsic semiconductor we know are of no practical use, because one atom in 10 to the power 9 atoms are available for conduction. Okay, one covalent bond breaks and an electron becomes thermally excited in 10 to the power 9 atoms. Okay, so the conductivity is very poor. So that is why we use extrinsic or impure or doped semiconductor. So extrinsic semiconductor are again of two types, p-type and n-type. P-type is doped with trivalent impurity atoms like boron, aluminium, gallium, indium. N-type is doped with pentavalent impurity atoms like phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, bismuth. Okay, in p-type the majority charge carriers are holes with equal number of negatively charged acceptor ions. Now what are these acceptor ions? Okay, let us see. We have done it in details in extrinsic semiconductor, but still I want you to know about it. So the acceptor ions means, see here, the aluminium is trivalent. It has 3 valence electrons in its outermost shell. So it will form 3 covalent bonds with neighboring silicon atoms. The 3 valence electrons in the outermost shell will form covalent bonds with neighboring 3 silicon atoms. There is a vacancy in the fourth place of in the fourth position. So the fourth bond cannot be formed. The fourth bond, covalent bond with the fourth neighboring silicon atom cannot be formed. So there is a vacancy over here. Since the fourth bond cannot be formed, there is a vacancy over here. Okay. Now what this silicon atom, what the electron of this silicon outermost orbit, in the outermost orbit, this is the valence electrons, right? So the electron in the outermost orbit of this silicon atom will break this covalent bond and will come and fill up this vacancy. Okay, so the electron will go from here to here and thereby creating a hole at its own site. So the hole is actually moving from here to here. Why is the electron in the outermost orbit of this silicon atom is moving from here to here? So that this aluminium can form a fourth covalent bond with the neighboring fourth silicon atom. So this aluminium atom is gaining 1 electron, thereby forming a fourth covalent bond with the neighboring silicon atom. Since the aluminium atom is gaining 1 electron, it is becoming negatively charged acceptor ion. Okay, this aluminium atom is becoming negatively charged acceptor ion. So majority charge carriers are holes with equal number of negatively charged acceptor ions. Okay, now here in the n-type, in n-type are doped with pentavalent impurity atoms. The majority charge carriers are electrons with equal number of positively charged donor ions. How the phosphorus, if I dope it with phosphorus impurity, the silicon crystal, then you can see the phosphorus is pentavalent. It has 5 valence electrons in its outermost orbit. Okay, so it is forming 5 covalent bonds. The 5 valence electrons of the 4 valence electrons of phosphorus is forming covalent bond with neighboring 4 silicon atoms. The 5th valence electron is free, and with a little energy, I have told you how much is that energy. It is 0.01 electron volt for germanium and 0.05 electron volt for silicon crystal. Okay. So with that little amount of energy, that is at room temperature, this fifth valence electron becomes free for conduction. Okay, so this phosphorus becomes positively charged. This phosphorus becomes positively charged because it is losing one electron from its orbit. This fifth valence electron becomes free for conduction. Okay, so the majority charge carriers are electrons because it is donating, this impurity atom is donating one electron in the orbit. Here similarly, here the majority charge carriers are holes because the impurity atom is donating one hole, extra hole to the crystal. Here the impurity atom is donating one extra electron to the crystal. Okay. The minority charge carriers in p-type are electrons which are thermally generated by breaking of covalent bonds. Okay. The minority charge carriers are electrons. Some covalent bond may break and generate a thermally charged carrier, that is electron. But that will be very less number. The number of covalent bonds that will break is very less. 1 atom in 10 to the power 9 atoms is available for conduction. 1 covalent bond breaks in 10 to the power 9 such atoms. Okay. So minority carriers are electrons thermally generated, means with temperature. It varies with temperature. And minority charge carriers in n-type are holes. Again, they are thermally generated by breaking of covalent bonds. Okay. So majority charge carriers are electron with equal number of positively charged donor ions. These are the donor ions. These are the donor. Phosphorus becomes positively charged. The phosphorus is the donor ion because it is donating one electron to the crystal. Aluminium is acceptor ion. It is gaining one electron and thereby becoming negatively charged. Okay. It is gaining one electron. It is acceptor ion. Since it is gaining electron, it is acceptor ion. It is accepting electrons. So it is acceptor ion and it is negatively charged. Since it has 3 valence electron and it is accepting another electron. Okay. And phosphorus is donor ion because it is donating one electron to the crystal. Now, coming to p-n junction, as soon as the p-n junction is formed, now p-n junction, it is a semiconductor crystal. It is a semiconductor crystal having acceptor impurities on one side. That is in the p region, there are acceptor impurities. Now you know what do you mean by acceptor impurities. They are trivalent impurities like boron, aluminium, gallium, indium. They are acceptor impurities. So an acceptor impurities in the p region and donor impurities in the n region. There are donor impurities in the n region. Okay. So that is the p-n when the p-n junction is formed. Now this region is a p region. P region has holes as the majority carriers. The majority carriers are the holes with an equal number of acceptor ions, negatively charged acceptor ions. So let us write p region has holes as the majority carriers. P region has holes as majority carriers with equal number of negatively charged acceptor ions. Okay. Now, so P region is doped with accepted impurities. Okay, accepted impurities, they will accept electrons and thereby become negatively charged acceptor ion. So P region has holes as majority charge carriers with equal number of negatively charged acceptor ions. Okay, so P region has negatively charged acceptor ions and an equal number of positively charged holes as the majority carriers. Second, N region has electrons as the majority carriers and an equal number of positively charged donor ions. Here you can see the N region is doped with pentavalent impurity atoms. Pentavalent impurity like phosphorus, then antimony, bismuth, all these are pentavalent impurity atoms. So N region is doped with pentavalent impurity atoms. And since the pentavalent impurity atoms, they donate electron to the crystal, so it becomes positively charged. After donating electron, it will become positively charged with equal number of free electrons in the crystal. With equal number of free electrons in the crystal, it becomes positively charged. Okay. So N region has electrons as majority charge carriers with equal number of positively charged donor ions. Now, you can see the P region has majority charge carriers holes with equal number of negatively charged acceptor ions. So P region as a whole is neutral. Similarly, N region has majority charge as electrons with equal number of positively charged donor ions. So N region as a whole is neutral. In addition to this majority charge carriers, which are holes in the P region and electrons in the N region, there are few minority charge carriers. Minority charge carriers means electrons in the P region and holes in the N region, which are thermally generated by breaking of covalent bonds. Okay, which are thermally generated minority charge carriers. So there are few minority charge carriers thermally generated by breaking of covalent bonds. Okay. Now, when the PN junction is formed, there is diffusion of the majority charge carriers across the junction. When the PN junction is formed, immediately there is diffusion of the majority charge carriers, that is electrons in the N region and holes in the P region across the junction. Now, due to diffusion, the electrons come in contact with the holes and there is recombination. Recombination. What do you mean by recombination? The electron and hole recombine and get neutralized. Okay, they get eliminated. The electron recombination means recombination of electrons and holes. They recombine and they get eliminated. Okay, so here immediately after the junction is formed, the electrons from the N region diffuse into the P region and holes from the P region diffuse into the N region. Now, due to diffusion, the electrons come in contact with the holes and there is recombination and the electrons get eliminated in the P side. The electrons come from here to here, they recombine with the hole and get eliminated in the P side. Likewise, the diffused holes are recombined with free electrons and get eliminated in the N side. The holes get diffused from P region to N region and recombine with the electrons and get eliminated in the N side. So what actually happening here? In the N region, near the junction in the N region, the free electrons are gone. The free electrons have diffused from the N region to the P region. Some of the free electrons have diffused from the N region to the P region. There is recombination of the hole with the holes and they are eliminated. Some of the holes have diffused from the P region to N region and there is recombination with the electrons and they get eliminated. So in the N region near the junction, there the free electrons are gone and there is only the positively charged donor ions left, which are immobile. They cannot move. These positively charged donor ions, they cannot move. They are static in their places. Similarly, in the P region near the junction interface in the P region, the holes are gone. The holes are gone. Due to diffusion, there is recombination, and due to recombination, they get eliminated near the junction, and only the negatively charged acceptor ions are left. Okay. So what do you see here? It is something like this. In the N region, there is only positively charged donor ions near the junction interface, and in the P region, there is only negatively charged acceptor ions near the junction interface. So it means there is a potential difference. A potential difference is set up across the junction and because of this potential difference across the junction, positive donor ions in the N region and negative acceptor ions in the P region, there is a potential difference across the junction, and because of this potential difference, there is an electric field directed from the positive N side to the negative P side across the junction. So the positively charged donor ions and the negatively charged acceptor ions across the junction creates a potential difference. There is a potential difference set up across the junction, and an electric field is built up across the junction, directed from the positively charged N side to the negatively charged P side. Okay. An electric field is built up across the junction, directed from the positively charged N side to the negatively charged P side. Now equilibrium is attained when this electric field becomes strong enough to stop further diffusion of electrons and holes. Why there won't be any further diffusion of electrons and holes? Because when this electric field becomes, how this electric field is created? Because of this acceptor ions and because of this donor ions. Okay. Now when this electric field becomes strong enough so that there cannot be any further diffusion of electrons and holes. Why there cannot be any further diffusion of electrons and holes? Because here you see the negative charges have built up, immobile negative charges, that is acceptor ions, negatively charged acceptor ions. If electrons tries to come over here, they will be repelled by this negatively charged acceptor ions. If holes try to come over here, try to diffuse across the junction, they will be repelled by the positively charged donor ions. So when this electric field is strong enough, they stop the diffusion of the majority charge carriers across the junction. But they help in the diffusion of the minority charge carriers across the junction. EI helps in the diffusion of minority charge carriers across the junction. Why? Because you see the minority charge carriers in the N region are holes. Okay. So holes are positive, holes carry positive charge, we know. Okay, and positive charge moves in the direction of the field. We know from electrostatics, Coulomb's law, F equal to QE. We know if there is a charge Q placed in an electric field E, then the force acting on the charge Q is F equal to QV. And if this charge is positive charge, it moves in the direction of the field. If this charge is negative charge, it moves opposite to the direction of the field. Isn't it? So holes are positive charge holes are the minority charges in the N region, and they carry positive charge. So they will move in the direction of the field and can diffuse across the junction. Similarly, electrons are the minority charge carriers in the P region, and they will move opposite to the direction of the field and can diffuse across the junction. So the minority charge carriers, this electric field will help the minority charge carriers to diffuse across the junction and will try to stop the majority charge carriers for further diffusion across the junction. Okay. Now, you can see this region is depleted, is free. This region is called the region on either side of the PN junction. Okay, on either side of this is the PN junction. On either side of this junction, you can see this region is depleted. Depleted means free of mobile charge carriers, of majority charge carriers. Okay, mobile charge carriers means electrons in the N region and holes in the P region. This region is depleted of mobile charge carriers. These are immobile charges. Okay, the donor ions and acceptor ions are immobile charges. So this region is depleted of mobile charge carriers, of majority charge carriers, and is called the depletion layer. Its width is of the order of 10 to the power minus 6. 10 to the power minus 6 meter. Okay, width of the depletion region. Width of the depletion region is of the order of 10 to the power minus 6 meter. Now, the potential difference that is developed across the junction, across the depletion region, is called the potential barrier. Potential barrier. The potential difference that is developed across the junction is called the potential barrier. Now this potential barrier, it depends upon the material of the PN junction diode, material of the semiconductor. Okay, it is 0.3 volt for germanium and 0.7 volt for silicon. It depends upon the material of the semiconductor. It depends upon the dopant concentration. Dopant concentration means how much impurity you are adding. The potential barrier depends upon the material of the semiconductor. It depends upon the dopant concentration. Why dopant concentration? How much impurity you are adding to the semiconductor, to the P region and to the N region. More is the acceptor impurity you are adding to the P region, more will be the number of holes created by the acceptor impurity, like aluminium. Isn't it? More will be the number of holes created. If more is the number of holes created, this hole and this hole will try to repel each other, thereby pushing the depletion region this way. Similarly, more the donor impurities in the N region, more the donor impurities will donate electrons in the crystal, thereby creating more number of free electrons in the N region, and this electron will try to repel each other. More will be the repulsion between the electrons, thereby pushing the depletion region in this direction. So the depletion region will get thinner, the potential barrier will get thinner. So dopant concentration, how does it depend upon the dopant concentration? The potential barrier, greater the dopant concentration, lesser is the potential barrier. Okay, and third, it depends upon the temperature. How does it depend upon the temperature? See, barrier potential, the potential barrier is inversely proportional to temperature. Higher the temperature, greater will be the mobility of the charge carriers. That is, the electrons and the holes will diffuse across the junction. Greater will be the diffusion of electrons and holes across the junction, bringing down the potential difference across the junction. Okay, greater will be the diffusion of the electrons and holes, because higher is the temperature, randomness will increase. That is, the kinetic energy of the charge carriers will be increased. Greater will be the diffusion across the junction, bringing down the depletion layer. Okay, potential barrier. So temperature is inversely, potential barrier is inversely proportional to the temperature. Okay. So this is all about PN junction diode. What do you mean by? And if there is how you are going to calculate this electric field EI that is developed across the junction, that is equal to potential difference across the junction divided by the width of the junction, width of the depletion region. So potential difference, say we are doing for silicon, so it is 0.7 volt for silicon, 0.7 volt for silicon, and the width is 10 to the power minus 6 meters. So you are going to get it to be 7 into 10 to the power 5 volt per meter. Okay. 7 into 10 to the power 5 volt per meter. That is what we are going to get. So next day we are going to study about flow of current across junction diodes, that is forward and reverse biasing of junction diodes. Okay, so thank you.